Hi friends, welcome to episode 8 of the LEGO Minecraft Chunk Project. Behind me on the left are layers 1 through 4, and on the right are layers 5 through 7. In my hands is the 8th layer, and I should probably sit down at the table before I drop this. It's pretty heavy. Oh yeah, this is much better. Alright. When it came time to design layer 8 in the Minecraft world, I knew I had to accomplish two things. Number 1, I needed to complete the dripstone cave which was built in layer 7, and number 2, I wanted something that would complement the next layer, the final layer, and let's first talk about completing the dripstone cave. With layer 7, most of the pointy dripstones are going from the bottom up, and with layer 8, I made the bottom of layer 8 have many pointy dripstones that go from the top down. Check that out. This layer was actually the most difficult layer to build yet, and that's because there was a lot of upside down building in order to achieve all of these pointy dripstones going from the top down. On Earth, when you see pointy things in caves that are going from the top down, they're called stalactites, and when you see pointy things going from the bottom up, those are stalagmites. And I knew layer 8 needed a bunch of stalactites in order to truly complement layer 7's dripstone cave. And another thing is layer 8 completes the 2 pillars of dripstone blocks that are found in layer 7. I'd say another detail is that many blocks are missing, and that's because when you have layer 8 on layer 7, it allows the dripstone cave to be really tall, and I really like the openness of it. The second thing is, when it came time to design the top half of layer 8, I knew that a water pool would look really nice, especially because this top half of layer 8 is above a dripstone cave, and in Minecraft you'll often find water pools above these dripstone caves. And with this water pool, I then thought, ooh, if I came across such a thing in Minecraft, I would probably turn it into a frog pond. So that's exactly what I did. I added a few lily pads and some grass blocks around the water pool, and I think this is enough spiciness to transform just a regular water pool into a full-out frog pond. And of course, this is foreshadowing the character segment of this episode. But before we get to that, layer 8, because we're approaching the surface of the world, the ores I've included are iron ore, coal ore, and copper ore. None of the other ores because we're really getting close to the surface of the world. Another type of block in this layer is diorite. There is a little bit of diorite at the bottom here, which continues the one diorite deposit in layer 7. And then there's a second diorite deposit, which is pretty large over by the water pool. And yeah, other than that, the other blocks are stone, dripstone, and some grass blocks. And these grass blocks either have orchids or grass on them. And orchids are my favorite flower in Minecraft, so I chose to use 3 of them for this layer. Additionally, there's a third significant feature on layer 8, and that feature is this cave. Originally, this cave wasn't here and it was just a bunch of blocks. But then I realized that there's enough volume of blocks here where I could remove a bunch and then have this cave. So that's exactly what I did. Jumping back to the water pool, a detail I really like is in Minecraft, a water source is not as tall as a single block. And with this Minecraft chunk, I have made all of the water pools slightly recessed. That way, the height of the water is not as tall as a single block. And on every layer that does have a water pool, they are all recessed like you see for layer 8. Something that I decided to do halfway through this project was to no longer have hollow spaces in the layers, and when I made that decision, I was doing it so that the time-lapse builds had more Lego pieces and therefore were hopefully more interesting. But a side effect of having 0 hollow spaces is that the layers are now really heavy, and this one in particular, there are 0 hollow spaces, so it's pretty darn hefty. And we'll have to see if when I stack all of the layers, if the chunk will hold or if it will topple over. I really hope it holds. Looking back on the past couple of episodes, layer 6 had 6 characters, layer 7 had 7 characters, and I didn't want to be predictable this week, and that's why layer 8 has 8 characters. If earlier you thought this layer would have some frogs, you were right. Here is the first frog, frog number 2, frog number 3, and frog number 4. This LEGO Minecraft chunk is in a dark forest biome, and a dark forest happens to be a temperate biome, and in temperate biomes, you get orange frogs that spawn, and that's why the 4 frogs in this layer are orange. The 5th character is a small slime cube, and it turns out that frogs will go after small slime cubes until they are eliminated. So we're going to put the slime cube a distance away from the frogs, but I'm sure one will eventually find it. The 6th character is a zombie. The 7th character is a skeleton with an enchanted helmet and bow. We'll put the skeleton by the zombie. And lastly, we have Alex with some enchanted armor, and Alex is carrying a slime ball because you can breed frogs in Minecraft with slime balls. This implies that Alex is pretty much about to breed some of these frogs. And just like that, it's time to watch the time lapse for when I built layer 8. I won't talk, but I will keep the music playing in the background. Alrighty, last week's episode got over 1,000 likes in the first 3 days. If this week's episode can get over 1,000 likes in the first 2 days, next week's episode will include me putting every layer together to show the completely assembled Minecraft chunk. If we don't hit that like milestone, we'll have to wait until the finale to see the whole chunk assembled. Also, regardless of that outcome, definitely tune in next Friday at 2 p.m. to see the final layer for the Minecraft chunk. This is when I usually tease the next layer in the episode, and I barely have layer 9 built yet, but I'll still tease it, and with what I have built so far, you might scratch your head and be confused, and I'm sorry, but I promise next week's episode, Friday at 2 p.m., it is going to be the coolest layer, trust me. If you're new around here and you want to see more LEGO Minecraft content, subscribe to the channel. And if you want to see the fully assembled chunk next week, click that like button. Thank you very much for watching.